I think right now we're live, huh?
I'm checking. Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect.
I don't might have to give it a few minutes for people to come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mike, I think you should also get a hoodie like we have, huh? A NePoPo hoodie.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm the oddball. I don't have one of those.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
When I saw the first time I saw the hoodie was Dominique.
Yeah, I got it from
Oh yeah.
Patrick and Alicia. I don't know where they
Hmm.
get it from, but if you want it, just ask Patrick and Alicia.
I have the last one of them.
I saw who else did I see with one?
Parrot. Parrot.
Who? There was somebody in
Parrot.
our gold
Parrot
class too.
in
Uh
the old class.
yeah,
So
somebody in our gold class.
Piotr has one, I
Piotr
I
have
know.
think
someone?
so. Yep. No. There's somebody else too. All
Are you
right.
sure in all gold class?
Yeah. No, they have it now. I saw them on uh, a Facebook post that had it on.
So I know Natalia has one, but she was not in a gold class. She was in a silver class.
No, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
probably the only one that doesn't.
You're the outsider.
Yeah.
Huh?
It was the first
Yeah.
time when I saw Dominic was on a seminar, I think so, in Belgium.
In Belgium, yeah.
Yeah. And I say, I want that that hoodie.
Yeah. How do you keep them clean though? Like you can't train in it. That's for sure.
No, you
That's
can't
for
train in
sure.
that
Yeah,
hoodies.
you
No.
cannot train. I have
No.
also a green one.
I think
Yeah.
that's not so
Green.
bad with the green one.
Yeah. Green would work.
I have also a green one. There was also from a student for me out Austria. He sent me for the tracking times I invaded for him. Yes, I have never paid for a hoodie.
I don't think they're that expensive. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. This hoodie I is a gift from Jack when I was in Germany. He was on the phone and he said, Eric, what do you like? Large, medium? I say, what do you think? And I, I said to him,
That's
what
a
the
tricky
hell?
question.
It was a tricky question, yes. And later, the day later, as he said to me, Eric, come us over here. I come in the kitchen. This is for you. Oh,
That's perfect. Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
There's
All
other
right.
people asking where they get the hoodie too now. So
So I got
started
mine
something.
from Patrick and Alicia from House Ambeck Shepherds. So I think if you're in Europe or Germany or Europe, maybe you just ask them and they can get it for you.
Yeah, they get it.
All right, guys. I think we start. Everybody is now live, I think. And yeah. So welcome everybody to episode 2 from our podcast on Q. Discussions about modern dog training. And myself, I'm Dominic. I'm the co-host from Mike. And we have today on the show Eric, who's, in my opinion, a master of tracking. And I think a lot of people think so too. So, yeah, Eric, I think you just start, introduce yourself, talk a little bit about you, yourself, your dogs, how you came to tracking, your love for tracking, and yeah, just go with the flow.
Okay. Now, my name is Eric. Everybody know that. Uh, some people know me from Facebook, some people from Instagram, some people from talking from other people's. Now, I doing for me the dog sport from my 14 years. I'm now 50, dus you can you can see how long I do the dog sport. All right, I have a few years I was out because my work don't let it to do some dog sport, and that was the reason I say no. I like more my dog sport than whatever whatever you want. All right, this I do. I have do some IGP. I have do some police dogs. I do detection. I have some kind of stuff, and I saw every yeah some obedience. All right, I say obedience. It's not so my thing. I saw protection. I say, I like protection. Protections are also in the IGP or on the police or on the Mondrio or France Ring. It's not so bad. And then I saw some tracking, and I thought to myself that can be much better. And I think so that I have now do much dogs, and I see much beautiful things. This I think what I do now with the tracking, I can tell you for 98% that I can learn your dog tracking. If your dog is 6 weeks, or if your dog is 6 years, it does not matter. I can do that. And I was also do look every seminar. I have seminars from NePoPo students. I have see seminars from other stuff, and I have some yeah. How can I say that? All together, I wrote it on my book, and I take my book and I looked in my book. I said, "This is no good. This is interesting. This is not good. This is not good. This is interesting." And so I do my tracking, and now I do I think it's so 6 years, yeah, 6 or 8 years. I saw Bart Bellon, and he said, "Eric, you do tracking." I say, "Yeah, I do tracking." Very interesting. When I see something that I like, I say, and I see something what you do, what I like, and maybe I can do it in my track. And the discussion begins. I mean, the discussion much more further. And now, the most thing I do in my tracking is NePoPo. Not the no NePoPo what you guys learn. I'm from the old school. I'm really from the old school. I have now 3 dogs in my house. All the three can do tracking.
How old are your dogs?
My oldest dogs are 8 years old. He's now retired, retired because uh, he is not so fair to me. Uh,
What does that mean?
that thing when I take my article, I won't take my article. He don't like it, and I like that dogs. The
A little bit dirty side of the dogs, huh?
yes, that's the dirty side of the dogs. I like that much more. The judge don't like that. This this the little problem. Then I have the Mali. The Mali is the last in the summer is now 4 years. He's good tracking, always stable, and I I have never see he take not an article. He takes his corners, and that was my dog. I learned the dog take the corners. When he's out of the corner, he comes back when he leave the tracking. And there were saying much people. He said, "Wow, how do you that?" And then I say, "You can you can come to me, and I can tell you." That's a little story, and it's also a little bit secret for me. One people know my secret.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta keep your secrets.
Yes, and then I have the little Dutchie. He's 9 months old. I think this month it's maybe next month he wants 10. 9 months old. He's very high drive dog. A very high drive dog. He have a switch. You can switch him on or you can switch him off. When he's in his boxes, he sleep, you don't hurt him. Never. When he see me, and you take him out of the box, the switch go on, he jumps around, he flip around, he do everything what not needs. And then when she's out of the in the garden and runs around, she comes to you, she goes sit for you, and he looks to you, and when you looks to her, she jump in your arms, and then she said, "Come on, let's work."
That's perfect. That's a perfect dog, huh? When you have an on
That's
and off
really,
switch.
yeah, that's a really perfect dogs, and also in dogs who, yeah, when you don't stop, you do everything what you want. And yeah, that's the reason I go do tracking, and the most of the time I do tracking with pups from, yeah, when they leave the breeder, and I have the pups for 5 6 weeks, and then they go to the customer.
Mhm.
And that is, yeah, that is the reason I like the tracking at most. Yeah, you, Dominic, you have seen me tracking in Germany. Also your little master, Patrick, he said to me, "Oh, Eric, look to me. You can't paper clips, revenge paper clips." I say, "Yes, that's not so problem. I can he also do tracking." And then he saw me tracking and he said, "Fuck, he's the master of tracking."
Yeah, that was an awesome weekend we had, huh?
Yes, there was also a weekend. Yes, and there was also when I was to the seminar with Patrick, the second day that he comes to me and he said, "Eric, can you let me show you your tracking?" Yes, that's the reason I go farther and farther with tracking.
Yeah.
And my tracking leads are not we go out the car, we take the pool, we take some grass or some clean oil of sand oil. No,
Yeah.
we take my pole, I take him everywhere, but I can take him. I leave my track 50, 100, 5,000 pass, not so problems. And I wait 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, seven. The most I have done it was 48 hours, and then I go tracking.
That's the thing that is for me the most annoying thing on tracking, the waiting for the track. So
Yes.
I always have the fear when I go away from the track and just do other stuff for like two, three,
Mhm.
4 hours. And I always have the fear that someone walks through my track or other dogs will go and put the food away. And
Yeah, but
yeah,
that's not a problem.
for a beginner dog, you think so?
Yeah, for your beginning dog, okay, that's a little problem for your beginning dog. But that's also the most mistakes what the people makes is when they have a little puppy, they take the pool, they take some little track, they take the puppy and go tracking.
Yeah,
That's so wrong. You don't do that because there is so many. You have to do your steps, you have to do your food or something what the pups like. But there is so much smell over there that you have always wait some time and not go for the beginning.
So
That's the
Eric,
reason.
take us through like if you have a puppy, like a fresh puppy, and then maybe a dog that's like a year old or an older dog. How would you in each of those scenarios? And I know people have a lot of questions, and so they're
Mhm.
we'll get to those. But how would you tell us how? Kind of walk us through how you would start off those dogs and how you implement if you use the box when tracking, or kind of walk us through that process for.
Okay.
I'm sure everybody on here. There's probably most of the people on here are a little bit familiar, but not everybody with
No, no.
tracking it, at all.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I start tracking, do with a puppy or do with an 1 year old dog, that doesn't matter. Always when my dogs come get some food, they never food in the pen. Never. I take a box. I take my garden. I put all the food, all the kibbles in the garden, and I say to my dog, "So the dogs go in the garden and take everywhere. And not in a meter. No, I take it everywhere. The dogs go sniffing, and he thinks, okay, I'm sniffing with my nose. That's so I find my behavior of my food. Then I take some pole. I take them in the ground. I stand still. I do nothing, and I put some food of the day, and I take all the food to the pole, nothing more. And I step out of that. I take my dog, uh, I walk to the pool, and some meter for the pool, I wait, and I say to my dog, pull, 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 pull. The dogs go to the pool, and hey, there's pleasure. There's food by the pool. And I do that for 5 weeks, 6 weeks, mm, sometimes one day, sometimes 3 times a day. And you don't go for a tracking field. You can do that in the garden. You can do that on so little field on the street, or you can do that everywhere.
So
The
this
next time,
their all their food you put right by the pole. Is that
root by
okay?
the pole, yes, so that you don't, so that the dogs talk. When I see the pole, that's food.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gotcha.
Pool is good, always food. You understand it? There's a
Yep,
pool.
yep,
That by the
yep.
pool is always good when there's food.
So that's
Now
why
the
your
next,
dogs are always crazy for the pole, huh?
yes, yes, when that's the jackpot, and they don't later on they don't know if the jackpot is by the pool or the jackpot is a little bit farther,
Yeah.
and if the track is the trail 500 meters or is the trail 10 steps, or that can be everywhere. And that's the reason that I learn your dog crazy to the pole. And that's also that I can tell you for 98% that the dogs go tracking because he like the pole.
Mm.
And there are so many things in tracking because you have tracking to another how can I say that? You can do when we do IGP tracking,
Yep.
it's not neutral tracking for the dog,
Yes.
and that's the difficult part for the dog. And that's so I learn the dog with 6 weeks. I learn the dog with 1 year. I learn the dog with 6 year. Always the first things I
Yep.
learn is there is food by the pole. And then some people said, yeah, but later on there is no food by the pole. No, because the jackpot is the pool. And when he leave the pool, the jackpot maybe a little bit farther. And then I leave my dog uh, some feeds when he go for tracking, and you do the feeds for 5 meters or 10 meters. And I do food in every step, but not the food to the foot only on the hill, not to the toad. Because when the dogs is looking, the dogs cannot see the dog, and they cannot see his nose. He only see the ground, and when I have the cabling in his teeth, they can sniff and they catch and they walk away. But when it's in the hill, they always got to do put more with his nose downstairs, 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 and then I do left, right, left, right. So always when you see my dogs do tracking, left, right, always left, right, left, right. I learn my dog to the uh, to to the right, to the left steps, right steps, left steps, right steps, left, right, every time. And that's the beginning of my tracking. And then I do that with food, and later on the food go away. My
Yeah.
the food go away by the pole. The first
Yeah.
step is a little bit food. The next step, there is no food. Next step, there is no food. Other step is there food. And when you see it's 1, 3, 7, 9, it's always, I got to look for that. Where I have the
So you
sound.
always mix it
Yeah.
up.
I always
It's
mix
not
it up.
predictable.
Yes, yes. It's always in an other numbers of steps. And so I do. So when you always comes out to the left or to the right. Is when you get the first 10 meters, you can tell you one step,
Yeah.
three, four, for three, five, five with seven, seven with nine, and nine with 11, and then you, oh, left, right.
But if you lay jackpots on the track or at the end of the track,
Hmm.
isn't there a high risk of the dogs pulling like crazy to the end of the track?
Yes, and that is what I want, because later on I introduce them the no. And
Okay.
that's what I said. That's when the dog go faster, faster, faster. And okay, that's not so problem. And later on, he wants only to the jackpot. And then I said, no way. First step, food. Next step is food. Other step is food. And no jackpot.
Okay.
So I got to learn the dog he no go faster, because there's I gave more attention on the leash, that he got to put the first step and the second step and the third step and the fourth step, and how many steps you want.
I never heard that before, that method, but as you can see, it works. Huh?
It's I can tell you it works every time. With every dog I have, s- also do other dogs. Now I do that. See, now I have a million, and I have a German Shepherd. I have also do it with a beagle. I have also do it with an schnauzer. I have do it with an last my seminar a Ridgeback dog, and there was a schnauzer, a beagle. Uh, This every dog can do that. You can do, and with a boxer there was also
Yeah.
this. You can do it with every dog, and I can tell you it works.
Perfect. Yeah.
And when the dog go too fast, I pull him away from the track and I go away,
Yeah.
and there's no jackpot. And the next time he is a little bit frustrated and he do what I want.
So you just gave a seminar, I think 1 or 2 weeks ago, right?
It was last week.
Oh, last week. Yeah.
Last week, yeah, yeah. And now I give also a seminar in next year in March for 2 days,
Yeah.
a 2 day seminar. So I can do some theory and I do some practice.
Yeah. Perfect. You do that together with Jack, or you do that alone?
Yes, I do that together with my buddy, with Jack Steenstra, who's is a gold NePoPo student. I do the most thing with him. I also learn my in the obedience, and he is he is the helper. So we do together. That's yeah. That is what you want from your buddy,
Yeah, it's
so that
correct.
you
Yeah.
can do all the three things. There's I'm not to I go never to a club.
Yeah, if you're going to go tracking, you don't really need a club to go to.
No, for tracking you need no, you need only farmers.
Huh? All right, Mike, do you want to go over the next question we have
Yeah.
in the group?
So let's see. Somebody asked, how do you build drive for tracking without losing the focus on the track? So how do you keep, uh, I guess, how do you have heart and soul for the track? How do you keep a dog in drive
Hmm.
while also keeping focus on the track?
Mm.
So, and I'm just going through these questions that are that are here. So just feel free to take off with them.
Uh, this what you want to know what I do. So the drive is uh, higher in the track. Now, my dogs never do fast tracking because I don't like a dog that do fast tracking because when the dog do fast tracking, he don't take the corner, he don't take the articles because he wants only food, 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 or he wants no interest in with tracking. Also, when I see a dog do tracking with his toe upstairs and I see that, I say to my, no, you're a circus dog. You don't like tracking. So this, what I do is I learn the dogs always take every step and there is always hope of the end. And when he knows where there is hope or there is an article and with why the article are the hope, he go slower and slower and you can see it, then he do it with heart and soul. And that's not the reason that the dog must do that with the stall. No, the dog stall stay in a lower position. And yes, he may do that sometimes. That's not so problem. But not do that because then he's fuck it with me.
So you just try to build enough hope on the track that there is enough hope on the track so you can add a little bit pressure also, and the dog does
Yeah,
not lose the focus and the hope for long tracks that are 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 steps, whatever.
yeah.
So
When
if
his
there's enough
condition,
hope,
there's always that for I learn him always do hope. There's always hope for him, and if the hope is with the article, of there's hope with only steps, there's always hope. That's the first time I learn him that
no,
when that the dog has hope, because when the dog no ever hope, he don't do that
no.
because then he do only that he don't like it.
All right.
You know, I don't. I'm gonna. Y'all are gonna have to run. I don't know much about tracking. I do a little bit. So my
I come to
oldest
you.
mouse, she's 3.5. She's probably protection obedience wise, she's ready for her 3, but
Hmm.
we haven't even done any tracking, so it's kind of off the table. But so I'm slacking. So this is
This is
But this
no,
is
this is your
perfect, so you
show.
can just know where you and how you can start.
yeah. And the start, don't think I got always do to start to grass. No, you the my last was the little puppy. You can see it.
Yeah,
I he was for me 4 days over here, and I was tracking with him on grass, and I said to myself, he likes tracking. I can do that on sand oil. I can do that on clay oil.
yeah,
So, and you saw the dog because he just understand what I want. And then you can also do that with an older dog. That's not so
yeah,
problem. And that is also when you do only tracking on a grass field, the dog understand only the grass field. But when you go to the sand, the dogs go always slower because that's another ground and not on the grass. On the grass are more smell on the feet steps than on the sand. When I put my when I put my feet in the sand and I go away, everything is go away. When I put my feet in the grass, grass is broken, the shelf feels off my head, and it's much more over there than on the sand field.
So do you always start off with grass, or do you mix it up while they are still young, your
I
dogs?
mix it up when the dogs were still young, and sometimes I also beginnings on the sand ground is not for me. It's not so problem. Only when the dogs understand the tracking, I do tracking on a parked line or something.
Yeah.
Not for the first time, but the dog must just understand what's tracking are.
Yeah, that reminds me of the really cool video you have online that where you track with your dog. I think that's in Mali, where the cows are walking by and watching your dog tracking.
Oh yes, that's with my German Shepherd.
Oh, it's a
Yes,
German Shepherd.
that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's by an industry. There's driving cars on my tracking. There come some bicycles, everything, and
Yeah.
he has grass, he have street, he have
So
and
the cows are walking by on the in the same field.
oh, that's
Oh
the
man.
Just
on the same. Oh no, you do. That was the melee with the cows. Yes, that was
it was
crazy. That was crazy.
5 meter away.
Yeah,
Oh man,
no,
my
no, no,
dogs
no,
would.
5 meters.
Jeez.
It was 2 meters, 2 meters away. Yes, that was crazy. I was on my
Wow.
field. I was on my field. I saw the cows, and I thought to myself, "Fuck, I cannot do tracking there." And I think now I can do tracking there with new audience.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
do
I
that.
think that yeah, I think that was
Yeah,
the
I lay
word.
my track, and I did a video by myself.
Yeah,
Nobody has the lease from the dog. Nobody. He tracking from himself, and I video it also with myself. And he was doing the cows running, and the cows want not go to the dog, and the dog want not go to the cows.
yeah. That's a
And
really cool video.
that's yeah what I like. Then that's also understand when you have do your competition and there is some other parts like cows or horses or some people standing there and walks away. The dog don't go over there because he knows I got to do focus on my track.
Yeah,
And that's also what I learned when the dogs have also with this now with this noise go downstairs on the footsteps,
yeah.
so he don't look around. The
So we have
most
another.
time,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, the most times when I go to a tracking field, I go with my leash to the tracking field, not my tracking leash are on my paints or something, and also his collar in my pockets, and then I go to the tracking field, and when I go on the tracking field, I lay my dog down.
Yeah.
Always, I learn all my dogs laying down so they can look around and they see everything. So that when they do tracking, they don't have to look around.
So they can focus on the track.
Yeah, he can focus on the track because everything is around. He have see that.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Huh? So we have a question. What qualities does a dog need to become a top level tracking dog? What do you think? That's
What I
another
do
easy
have
question.
not easy question. Mm, yeah, he knows when he go for tracking and he cannot find the corner. If it's the corner to the left or corner to the right, he got do it by himself. Thus, when he is out of the corner, some 2 meters or 3 meters, and the dogs stand still and looks to you and he do fun. I don't understand what I got to do now. Put the dog away. That's not good. The dog just only work alone. And when the dog can work alone and also do, uh, he walks over the corner and he comes back and he do the corner on new, he do it again and he takes the corner, then understand the dog what he did wrong.
Yeah.
And what the people, you can only teach them. And when the dog understand that, and also the dog can sniff with his nose for 30 minutes or long, then it's the good tracking dog.
So if you, let's say, if you looking for a puppy, for a new puppy,
Yeah.
how would you test those qualities for a top level tracking dog in a puppy? Or do you say you can't tell that from an 8 week old puppy?
The most things you cannot say it from a puppy from 6 to 8 weeks. I do some little things because I have always, when I look from puppies, I have always some food or
Yeah,
some little things in my hand, and I take the puppy and I say wah, 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 and I put my hands on the ground, and when
yeah,
the pups go what to my hand, and I show him what I have and I put it away and he goes to that way, then I say okay, he knows how we got to do it,
yeah,
and he have interest in. My normally you cannot say, oh, that puppy is very good for tracking. No, when you saw when your dog knows, okay, now I do tracking.
yeah.
He's 4 years to 7 years old. Then he understand what tracking really are. The most when I do competitions and then you see the on the tracking fields the most dogs are 5 6 years old. When I have when I have a pup or something and like what I have now, 9 months old dog, and I go tracking for 20, 50, 20 to 45 minutes, I think the pups go sleeping and wake up the next morning
Yeah, that's it's hard for the
because
dogs.
it's hard in the mind for the dog, very hard in the mind. It's not it is not is conditioning. No, that's not so the problem. Okay, he
Yeah,
got to learn how he do this condition, but he got to learn how he do his with his nose. I said to most people when they I tell them most to when you do tracking, I said to the people, listen, when you do 1 minute, uh, take some in your nose and you put only way out of your nose and you don't breathe out to your mouth, then only breathe in your nose in and out. You can do that for 10, 50 seconds and then you do phew, and that dog must be do it for 20 or 45 minutes long, and that is what you got to learn. And
So I took somebody else's question and posted it
Mhm.
on here, but so articles. How do you start off your articles? Do you and do you start off with that early on when you're teaching the dog tracking, or do you teach it separately, or what's your process for the articles?
uh,
It's a lot of people. That's where it mess up. Their dog will do perfect, and then it gets to the article, and you know.
mhm. Yeah, that's now. But I can tell you, the most people make it difficult for the dog because they go tracking and they lay an article on the track, and when the dogs not find the track or not find the article, they give attention on the line and say to the dog that he must be go lie. And then I say, what are you doing? Are you do tracking? Or do you learn him article? Or do you learn him pressure on the line? And the most people said, I don't know. I learn my dogs tracking. I learn my dogs what's tension on the line. Want when I do the most tracking on the field and there is something on the ground and my leash takes around that thing and the contention on the leash, the most things where you see the dogs go live because the most people give tension on the line when it's an article. But then on the competition there are no article. Then you have a little problem. This I do always my article learning out of the track. I learn my dog tracking and I learn my dog taking his article. And later on, I take my when he understand how he'll get alive by the article, then I take my article to the tracking field. And then it's the first time I do 10 meters tracking and on the end the article. When that's the jackpot. Dus when the pups come to me, I always learn what is an article. Dus when I see an article and there's a pup, the pup looks to the article, click food. Click food. Always click food. Later on, I lay it on the ground. Puppy walks. He looks to the article, tick food. Article, click food. And I do it many hundreds, maybe 1,000 times. Click food, click food, click food. And when I do my obedience, I learn my dog sit, stand, lie. Dus later on, the puppy or the older dog looks to the article. The dogs, I don't click, I give him not food. The dogs, he think, the dogs go lie, click food, click food, click food. Take the article away, take the article everywhere. I put the article away. The dogs go to the article. When I see the article, I got the lie. Click food, click food.
So you shape it.
I do only shape it. Yes, I do only shape it, the article out of the tracking field. Because when you do obedience, you learn your dog sit, stand, and everywhere. But not you learn it not when it's in heel process, and then you sit there, your dog, hey, sit. When you look around and what the fuck, I don't sit. I always shape to the article, and the article can anything. It can be a key, it can be a bullet. It doesn't matter what. Paper clips, yes, Patrick, paper clips. And then later on, when I do tracking, I lay the article of the end of the track. Always on the end of the track, the dog is tracking. He see the article and he thinks, okay, when I lie to the article, I get food.
Yep. Yeah, it makes sense. Huh? Just shape it away from the track and then later put it all together.
Put it all together.
Love it. Yeah, interesting method.
What about do you start off in straight lines? I know some people do circle tracking. What is your preference and why?
Can you repeat the question? Can you repeat the question, Mike?
Yeah, sure. So some people, I've just noticed this at our local club too. You know, when some people start off circle tracking just in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yes,
and then
in a circle, yes,
yeah, and then some people, people get contentious over it too. But and then some people they start off in a straight line, even from
Mhm.
puppies. What do you prefer? What do you think is the best method? And
The best thing, yeah, there is no best thing because then we also the best. Now, when you look, normally you see a grass field, and when you look to the grass field, you can see it's always that way, the grass. So I take my pull and I put cross the field, and I do when the dogs understand tracking on 10 meters, I go to a circle, and when he understands the circle, I go left, right, left, right, left, right, and because why do that? When you see the grass field, it's lying always dead, so that the dog uh, do his nose only not with the structuur, hoe zeg je dat? Hm? Structure. Now,
Structure?
now structure of your. That's not a problem. I got a pen and I got a book.
I think structure.
Yeah, structure. Yes.
So if the grass is laying like this, you just go,
Yes, that's right. When you see when it's the field,
yeah,
this is the grass growing,
yeah,
and I do always
straight against.
straight against the grass, and always do the circle with it straight against the grass, and then I take some pull,
Yeah,
and then I go always do that, so that the dog don't know that it always go pull. It is always right on. No way. This
always mix it
left,
up.
right, always mix it up.
keeps them from being in a hurry too.
Yeah,
Seems like it would.
Yes, yes, and that is also the reason that you learn your dog focus on the track. When it's always tried up, then he go put his pull his nose up and he smelled the next corner,
yeah.
and then he go hop, like a TGV, like a first train to the fast station.
All right, we have another question. So, after training an article, do you ever find any dogs who false indicate on a random, unrelated object trying to get reward? I think that depends on, you told us that you use anything like a bullet, an article, a key, whatever, as an object for your tracking. So, do you
Yes.
think that has a risk of false indication to get rewarded?
Now, have no false indication or to have a little bit risk when you do only do IGP dogs, because when you do an IGP dog, they're always like this sort
Yeah,
articles. It's a wood or it is fennel or it is leather or something. When you do some police, then you look for bullets.
yeah,
And that is the reason what I learn my dogs learn every article, because sometimes there are people who are interested in my dog and then the dogs go away. Maar that's yeah, okay. It's a good question. Maar when the article don't lie on my track, my dogs don't look to the article.
hmm,
Never, because he knows I got the focus on my track, and when it's an article on my track, I got the lie, and the article on the track is only in breaking point for him. He
yeah. That
never
makes sense.
understand if it is some wood or leather. it's only a breaking point on the track for the dog. Dus
Makes
when
sense. Yeah.
I have here my tracking field and my articles lay over there, my dogs only take a sniff over there and he walks up when he thinks, no, it's not on the track.
Yeah. So we have another question.
Yeah, let me know.
So this is from Sven, actually. Do you
From?
use food that smells hard in the beginning? I guess strong. Do you use food that smells strong in the beginning, or
No,
just
no,
kibble? Or
no. The food I do on my track is his food, his dinner time.
So the daily food he gets during the day.
Yeah, he's doing it today. And later on, he knows when I go to back to home, he knows, all right, now I get my food. And
Yeah.
then I lay other kibbles or something on my track. My tracks are 50, 100, 80, 100, 2000 steps. Maybe they lay for 50 or 30 kibbles and not more. Now, when I learn the dog tracking, it's always his kibble or his meat or what you feed your dog on the track. Only
So
you have a little problem. Only you have a little problem with the nature when there are
yeah,
birds, they pick it away.
or ants or something. I think in the
Yeah, or
USA you have a
ants or
lot of
something.
ants.
Yes, but that's nice that you say it, Dominic. I have some another NePoPo Gold Student. Is in Australia, and in Australia, and yeah, and he told me when I do tracking, my dogs don't like ants. I say, yeah, but he has not take the ants. Yeah, there's always ants on my on his food, and that's the way that he take not take his food. I say, then you take his food to all the ants. You give the food to the ants, and you say to your dog, eat now, and the problem is solved.
Then you need a lot of food drive for that, I think.
Yeah, but there was also the question that I had on my seminar. Yeah, but when the grass is a little bit wet, my dog don't want to lie. I say, okay, come on. I saw a little more weather. I take some food. I say to the dog, down. The dogs go down in all the weather. I say, what's the problem?
It's just a lack of motivation, I think.
Yeah, but the most people said, "Yeah, my dog don't like that. My dog don't like that." Come on, take him, and so he knows what it wants, and that's the little bit the when you learn your dog a little tension on the line, that
Yeah.
he knows that there is always hope. When I give my dog attention on the line, my dogs always go harder searching. When he thinks, oh no, no, what's coming now? What's coming now? What's coming now?
So
And
another question we have is, what is your procedure if the dog loses the track or gets distracted and loses the track?
oh, my dogs never lose the tracks. Yes, okay. Then the first times the dogs lose the track. Okay, in the first times my dogs lose the track. When my dog is
like negative
tracking,
punishment?
hey, negative punishment, a little bit.
Yeah.
When my dog lose the track, he's on the tracking field, and now he takes not the corner to the left. He go straight on. I stand still, and I stand still. I stand still. Mm, Then there comes some attention on the leash and I wait. And I wait not 1 minute, maybe I wait 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I wait. The dog come to me, normally because the dog, he don't understand it. And I say, Zoek. And when he's then by the corner, there come much more tension on the line. So he got it takes his corner. Maar when he's cross your corner, I think the handler have not good learned the dog take the corners. But that's another problem.
Yeah.
Always, when you have stride on, not you whatever, the dogs go out of the track. I always stand still. I don't walk. No, I stand still. I stand still. And when the dogs is on the track again, I walk. So the dog understand when I go out of the track, I go back to the what I left the track. Yeah, normally I'm not so good talker. I normally take some paper or a whiteboard and Jack always said, the man he can talk and now he grow and I'm not so good in talking.
Yeah, it's no problem.
Okay.
We have another question that's, I think we lost a little bit the question, was
Yeah.
really in the beginning. Toon asked, what is the difference between your, because you said you do old school tracking. So what's the difference between your old school style and, yeah, the, let's say, new school or the normal way people do tracking?
Uh,
Yes. This
I learned the dog from the old school. I learned my dog first. Here's the pull. There's food. There's only po, po, po. Only positive, positive, positive. And then we have a footstep that's positive. The next footstep is positive. The other footstep is positive. The other footstep is positive. The other footstep, there's no food. The other footstep, there's no food. The other footstep is food. Now the dogs is go tracking. Okay, it is positive, 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 positive. And then, hey, there is no food. I go back or I quick. And then I got to tell him, come on. And I give him more a negative postmortem that he must go tracking. And yeah, and I see now always also in the Germany you don't have no e-collar, no prong collar, and then I got some little bit changes in my big book, so that the dog also understand when it's negative and when it's positive. Dus now I begin before he gets the food, I
yeah,
get more tension on the line, so it's negative. And when he takes his footstep, it's positive. When he's out the footstep, tension. When he's
yeah.
in the footstep, it's positive. I'll only with some dogs that don't understand that, then I do much more the old school, the much more no popo.
Yeah, I mean,
Of
it
the
also
popo,
depends on
no.
the on the dog and on the handler, what training
Yes,
method or what style you're
what
using, right?
style? Yes, 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 yes. On seminars, I don't tell everything.
Of course.
That, of course, yeah. Then I have no work.
And you
Now,
also got to make sure that you always stay in the legal framework of the country where you're
yes,
actually
yes,
training.
yes. I always, yes. That's the reason I got to look, and I always got to look which people it's on the table, what you have.
Yeah,
One Sometimes there are some people they take the dog out of the car and they have a prong collar or they have or e-collar, and there are always some people who takes his dogs out of the car and yeah, he get beef. He- Oh no, he do that. No, no. Yeah, yeah. Also, dead people. All this. There are more pet dogs,
Yeah,
and also that people pay you that and want to learn it. Because
yeah,
that's a little bit the tension on the old school. I don't. What I the most got tell is what I see is some. No, I got to tell it on a really way. How do you learn your dog? Tracking, I always tell nobody do something wrong because what I do is not the best thing for every dog. But what I don't not understand is you got your box, there's no bottom on the box. The dogs go with his nose in the box. He's smelling the footstep, and then you give food. Then I think when the box is out, is away, and the dogs come to his footstep, he wait for his behavior, his skibbling, and I do just the other side. I give him always the first time the hope in the
yeah,
box of in the footstep, and later on there is no hope in the footstep, and
yeah.
that's are something of also when the people do some how do that a square. They take a square and they take every food over in the square, and I said, why do you take food in the square? Yeah, then he knows. Yeah, but when it's out of the square, there is no food. Yeah, yeah. Now, and the square is always big. I take only the square. I learn the square in the corner, so we can. When he's off the corner, he takes all. You can see it on my old tracks, but where every dog's when he's off the corner, my dogs always smell over there, and smell over there, and then he got all right. It's that way. When you do scum square and you take always kibbles over there, there is nothing. Dus the dog learn always there is some food and there is no food. And I learn the dogs another thing. When
Yeah.
it's over there is no food, and out of that, there's food. And now you got to learn the dog to the left of to the right of its father. Yes, that's many ways to
Lead
Rome,
to Rome,
I
huh?
think. Yeah, there's many ways to lead Rome, and you always got to look what with dog
That you have in front
can
of
get
you.
set. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. This that's a little bit the reason.
All right. There's a couple. I think there's a question up on the board. We probably have time for one more question
Yeah.
after this. But do you do hard surface tracking as well?
Yes.
For police
Okay.
dogs.
So
Yeah.
Well, I
yeah.
do it on
Okay.
parking
So for
place.
gotcha.
You drive to
So
the
the question
McDonald's.
is,
You drive to the McDonald's and you go tracking.
gotcha. So for hard surface or concrete tracking, do you spray water to lay your track instead of the moisture like that's in grass or dirt? Like to use a
No,
water sprayer?
no. I
Just the
go.
same process over again?
Yeah, always the same process. I do always the same. When I go to the competition, I do the same thing with my dog. Always, always the same, so that the dog understand what he got to do and what we gonna do. Yesterday, I take a little video on the Facebook, so when I take my e-collar on the tracking field, the dogs understand. Okay, now is the e-collar. Now we go tracking. Always give your dog a signal what you're gonna do.
So he knows what's coming next, and he's mentally prepared for the work we're gonna do.
Yes,
Sure.
and it's the then you have no issue with which ground you have
So
because
I
he
think,
understands what he got to do.
yeah. So I think what the question was a little bit about is also because also thought about that. So if you lay a track on concrete, you are not able to see where you are going.
Hmm.
So you cannot see if the dog is actually on the track or he's just playing games. I think that's also a little bit what the question
Okay,
is
that's
about.
maybe the question. Yeah, when I lay the track, yeah, I have so many laying tracks. I have so many tracks in my you. Yeah, okay, that's my. I don't. Okay, how can I tell? You have some nails where some ladies take some wool and take some make some
Cloth.
color of so
Yeah,
hoodie.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know the sticks of that
Yeah,
that are maybe so big. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes when I take my corner of my article, I put that some in the ground, some 1 meter of away, so that I know where are the article are
yeah,
or
yeah,
where also the corner are. Maar there always be a smart dog who understand when he see that there is something. Dus when you do that, you take some kneeled, you walk, you take some kneeled over here, walk 2 meters further and lay down there your articles so that the
yeah,
dog not understand when I see that there's an article or 2 meters before that or 2 meters behind that little pool or something what you have. Not take some garbage over there when that the dog sniffing in
yeah.
the garbage.
Yeah, so you just help yourself a little bit so you can focus on the track and then you see, aha, there's my, let's say, a marker, a knitting needle or whatever. And you say,
Yeah.
okay, there's something, or there's the corner, or the track is going in this direction. So
Yes. It's
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 not,
it's a nice it is a nice little tool, but not every track
yeah,
because then the dog understands much more what's happened over there of
yeah,
what's it's come. Then it's a come a corner or it's an article or something else.
yeah. All right, I would say we do one last question and then we close it for today. And we have a question from Michael Carpenter. The question is, how do you use food on track as you get closer to a trial? If you prepare your dog for a trial.
For when I might to prepare my dog to a competition or something, I mostly weeks before the competition I do uh, lay too much food for the dog, and then I go do uh, by 3 steps, or I do by 7 steps, or I do by 9 steps, and I do other week too much food, and the other
Yeah,
week I do not so good food. The other day, no much food. And when the competition is 3 days before I go to the competition,
yeah,
then there is no food on the ground, never.
yeah,
And then the day before my competition, I lay, I take my pool, I lay some food by my pool, the jackpot, and I do only that. And then I take my dog away, and I hope he do the next day. I hope so. We have 98 or 95 points because I don't like 100 points
yeah,
because I don't like 100 points. Why I don't like 100 points? Because the dog can be a little bit ill, or a judgment don't understand much of tracking, and he said, "Oh, that was good, that was good." Then I give you points, and when Senna judge, he said, "Yeah, it was fabulous." No, my dogs never. For me, it's never 100 points. Only 98.
Yeah, that's funny.
Because when the dogs always have 100 points, then your dog is a world champion.
You don't have to
Always.
train anymore.
You don't have to train anymore. Your dog is always champion. Because that's always that I say to my students. I say, I can you learn tracking. I can learn your dog tracking for 98% that he goes tracking. But I
Yeah.
can don't learn your dog tracking 100 points because your dog maybe that day a little bit ill, or there's too much windry, or there is too much noise, or whatever you want. And they just give you 100 because he like the tracking dog. No, that's I don't like 100 points.
Yeah, everybody's different. Huh?
Yeah, everybody is different. I'm a person. I'm a little bad for my dogs, somewhat.
All right, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
So unless there's anything else, Dominic, you got anything?
No, I'm good, thank you. I think if we're done, we just post a little bit. Maybe we can search for the video we were talking about with the cows. We just posted under the post, and
Yeah.
we'll link your
I think people
Facebook
like
and
to see that. I'd
Instagram
like to
account.
see it.
That was a beautiful thing with the cows.
Yeah.
I have also have to tracking when there's an airplane going down, and my dogs stay only with the article and the airplane. And I was not filming. So that was the problem. But it was very nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Eric.
Okay.
Thank you for being on the
No
show.
problem. Yes.
We were a little bit over an hour, but I think the informations you gave us today were really helpful, especially when you just start off in tracking. And also, of course, if you have an older dog or you are already experienced in tracking, it's always good to hear different opinions. And yeah, thanks for being on the show.
Okay. I think it was nice to invite it to you guys. And
Yeah, thanks for coming. It was an honor.
yeah, no problem. No problem. And
I got to start tracking.
I got
Yeah,
started.
you gotta do that.
Yeah. But when you have a question, Mike, or something for your tracking or whatever, you can always text me. That's no problem. I give you
Well, I will.
always
I'm
an
sure I'll
answer.
have nothing but questions. So.
Oh, nothing but questions.
All right, guys. I think that's it for today.
All right, guys.
Thanks for joining.
All right. Hey,
And yeah, we just see you the next time, huh?
next time. Okay.
Adios.
Hey, adios.
Bye bye, guys.
Bye bye.